Today, we are going to talk about something very powerful: deep work. But what does deep work mean for English learners, especially at A1 and A2 level? Deep work means focused learning. It means you study without distractions. No phone, no social media, no multitasking. Just you and your English practice. Many learners study English while doing other things. They listen to English while scrolling on their phone. They play a podcast in the background while cooking. They watch a video, but also check messages. This is not deep work. This is light attention. Deep work is different. Deep work means your brain is fully present. You are not just hearing English. You are actively listening. You are thinking. You are repeating. You are noticing details. Even if you study for only 20 minutes, if those 20 minutes are deeply focused, your improvement will be much faster. Let's imagine two students. Student A studies for 1 hour. But during that hour, they check their phone many times. They think about other things. They stop and start. Student B studies for 20 minutes. The phone is off. The room is quiet. The mind is calm. The student listens carefully and repeats. After 1 month, student B will often improve more because the brain learns better when it is focused. At A1 and A2 level, deep work is especially important. When you are a beginner, new sentence structures. Your brain needs concentration to understand and remember. If your attention is divided, your brain cannot build strong connections. Deep work helps your brain create strong memory paths. When you hear a sentence like, "I usually wake up at 7, and you focus completely, your brain stores the sound, the meaning, and the structure together. If you are distracted, you may hear the sentence, but you will not fully process it. Deep work also helps with confidence. When you focus deeply, you notice progress faster. You understand more. You remember more. You feel improvement. This motivates you to continue. So how can you practice deep work? With an easy English podcast. First, choose a quiet place. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be calm, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Not too long. Short and powerful. Put your phone in another room if possible. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Now, when you press play, your only job is to listen. Listen. Try to understand the main idea. Notice how the speaker connects sentences. If you hear, "I'm going to visit my friend tomorrow," think about the structure. I'm going to. This is future. If you hear, "I like watching movies," notice like plus verb ing. This is deep listening. You can also pause and repeat. Deep work is active. You are not passive. You are working with the language. Repeat sentences slowly. Feel the pronunciation. Notice your mouth movement. At A1, A2 level, repetition is not boring. Repetition is building. Each time you repeat, your brain becomes more familiar with the pattern. Another part of deep work is small reflection. After listening, ask yourself simple questions in English. What was the topic? What new phrase did I hear? Can I use this phrase in my life? When you reflect, you move information from short-term memory to long-term memory. Deep work does not mean studying for many hours. It means studying with full attention. Even 10 minutes of real focus is stronger than 1 hour of distracted listening. Think of deep work like exercise. If you go to the gym and move slowly while looking at your phone, you will not get strong results. But if you focus on each movement, even for a short time, your body grows stronger. Your brain works the same way. When you train your focus during English practice, you also train your ability to concentrate. In general, and slowly, something changes. English feels clearer. Sentences feel easier. Your understanding becomes faster. Because your brain is no longer learning in a shallow way. It is learning deeply, carefully, and intentionally. Building strong foundations that support your speaking and confidence step by step as you continue practicing with purpose and full attention every single day. Shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques you can use to improve your English pronunciation and fluency, especially at A1 and A2 level. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and repeat it immediately, almost at the same time as the speaker. You do not wait too long. You do not translate. You simply listen and speak together. For example, the speaker says, "I'm looking for a new job." The speaker says, "What time does the train leave?" You repeat, "What time does the train leave?" But it is very powerful. When you shadow, you train 3 important skills at the same time: listening, pronunciation. First, listening. When you shadow, you must pay very close attention. If you lose focus for 1 second, you miss the next word. This forces your brain to stay active. You are not passively listening. You are deeply engaged. Your ears begin to notice small details. You hear how words connect. You hear how sounds change. For example, in natural speech, going to often sounds like gonna. I'm going to call you becomes I'm gonna call you. When you shadow, you hear this clearly, and you copy it. Second, pronunciation. Many learners know the correct words, but their pronunciation is not clear. They may speak slowly and carefully, but the rhythm sounds unnatural. Shadowing helps because you copy a correct model. You do not guess how to pronounce a word. You hear it first. Then you repeat it immediately. If the speaker says comfortable and pronounces it like comfortable, you copy that sound. In English, some words are stronger than others. For example, I really like this movie. It is stronger. When you shadow, you naturally copy this stress pattern. This makes your English sound more natural. Third, rhythm and flow. English has music. It has a pattern of strong and weak sounds. When you shadow regularly, your mouth becomes more comfortable with this rhythm. At first, shadowing may feel difficult. You may feel slow. You may not keep up with the speaker. That is normal. If the audio is too fast, choose slower material. Easy English podcasts are perfect for shadowing because the speech is clear and not too fast. Start with short sentences. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat it slowly. Then play it again and try to speak at the same time as the speaker. You do not need to be perfect. The goal is practice, not perfection. Here is a simple shadowing routine you can use. Step 1. Listen to a short section, maybe seconds, without speaking. Just understand the general idea. Step 2. Listen again and pause after each sentence. Repeat slowly and clearly. Step 3. Listen again and try to shadow. Speak together with the speaker. Step 4. Listen one more time without speaking. Notice how much easier it feels. This process may take 10 minutes, but it is deep practice. Shadowing also helps reduce hesitation. When you practice repeating full sentences, your brain becomes familiar with common patterns. For example, I think that's a good idea. I'm not sure about that. It depends on the situation. If you repeat these sentences many times, they become automatic. Later, in real conversation, you will not need to build the sentence from zero. It will already be in your memory. This reduces fear. Many learners are afraid to speak because they worry about making mistakes. But when you have repeated correct sentences many times, you feel more confident using them. At A1 to A2 level, learners often speak very slowly because they are translating in their minds. Shadowing trains your brain to connect listening and speaking directly. You hear English, you speak English. No translation. This creates a faster mental connection. Over time, you will notice that your mouth moves more easily. Your sentences come out more smoothly. Your pronunciation becomes clearer. It is important to practice shadowing regularly. Not once a week. Try 3 or 4 times a week. Even 10 minutes is enough. Consistency is more important than long sessions. Do not worry if you cannot follow every word perfectly. Focus on rhythm and general sound. Little by little, your listening improves. Your pronunciation improves. Your confidence improves. And slowly, sentence by sentence, your English becomes more natural, more fluent, and more comfortable because your brain and your mouth are learning to work together in real time through simple, focused shadowing practice that builds strong speaking habits step by step. Now let's focus on something very practical and very powerful for A1 to A2 learners, learning simple, high-frequency phrases for daily conversations. Many English learners spend a lot of time memorizing long vocabulary lists. They learn words like environment, development, or communication. These are useful words, but in daily life, we often use simple, common phrases again and again. If you want to speak English faster, you should focus on high-frequency phrases. These are expressions that native speakers use every day. For example, how's it going? I'm not sure. It depends. Can you help me? I'm looking for. I'd like to. These phrases are simple, but VHAS are powerful. When you learn full phrases instead of single words, you save time. You do not need to build every sentence from zero. You already have ready-made expressions in your mind. Let's take a simple example. If you only learn the word like, you still need to think about grammar. But if you learn the full phrase, I'd like a coffee, you can use it immediately. At a cafe, you do not, you simply say, I'd like a coffee, please. High-frequency phrases also help you sound more natural. For example, instead of saying, I agree, yeah, that makes sense. These small additions make your English feel more real and conversational. Easy English podcasts are perfect for learning these phrases. When you listen, pay attention to expressions that repeat. If you hear the phrase at the moment many times, write it down. At the moment, I'm busy. At the moment, I'm studying English. This helps your brain understand how to use it. Another important idea is learning phrases for common situations. For example, at work, can you repeat that, please? I'll send you an email. I'll check and let you know. In daily life, what time does it start? How much does it cost? Where is the nearest station? In conversations, really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Why do you think so? These are survival phrases. They help you continue a conversation even if your vocabulary is limited. At A1, A2 level, your goal is not to speak perfectly. Your goal is to communicate clearly. High-frequency phrases make communication easier. When you memorize phrases like, I've been working all day, you automatically learn present perfect continuous. You do not need to study the rule first. The structure becomes natural through repetition. The more phrases you learn, the more patterns you understand. Here is a simple method to practice. Choose 5 useful phrases from a podcast episode. Write them down. Say each phrase 5 times out loud. Then create one personal sentence for each phrase. If the phrase is, I'm thinking about, you can say, I'm thinking about changing my job. I'm thinking about learning Spanish. I'm thinking about going on vacation. When you connect the phrase to your real life, it becomes easier to remember. You can also practice small dialogues with yourself. For example, question, what are you doing this weekend? Question, do you like coffee? Answer, yeah, I really like it. Over time, your collection of phrases grows, and something interesting happens. When someone asks you a question, you do not feel empty. You already have expressions ready. Your brain says, I know this pattern. This reduces hesitation. It also makes listening easier. When you hear a familiar phrase, you recognize it immediately. You do not need to translate. High-frequency phrases are like tools in a toolbox. The more tools you have, the easier it is to build sentences. Remember, simple English is powerful English. You do not need complex words to sound confident. Clear, common phrases are enough for daily communication. When you focus on practical expressions, repeat them regularly, and use them in small, personal sentences, your speaking becomes smoother and more automatic, and your conversations begin to feel less stressful and more natural, because you are building your English on strong, useful foundations that you can use anytime, anywhere, in real-life situations. Now let's talk about how to build a simple 20-minute daily deep practice routine. that can truly help you learn English faster. Many learners believe they need 1 or 2 hours every day to improve. But the truth is, consistency is more important than long study time. A focused 20-minute session every day can bring stronger results than one long session once a week. The key is structure. When you have a clear plan, you do not waste time. You know exactly what to do. Your brain feels organized, and organized practice leads to better progress. Let's break this 20-minute routine into 4 simple steps. First, 5 minutes of focused listening. Choose an easy English podcast at your level, A1 or A2. The content should be clear and not too fast. During these first 5 minutes, just listen. Do not pause, just focus on understanding the general idea. Ask yourself simple questions in your mind. What is the topic? Who is speaking? What is the situation? This trains your listening comprehension. It also warms up your brain for English. Second, 5 minutes of active listening and repetition. Now play the same section again. This time, pause after each sentence. Repeat the sentence slowly and clearly. For example, if you hear, "I usually go to work by bus," pause and repeat, "I usually go to work by bus." Pay attention to pronunciation. Notice how the words connect. Try to copy the rhythm and stress. This step helps your speaking muscles. Yes, speaking uses muscles in your mouth and tongue. Repetition makes them stronger and more flexible. If you hear a useful phrase like, "at the moment," or "I'm looking forward to," write it down. These phrases are valuable for daily conversation. Third, 5 minutes of shadowing practice. Now, listen again without pausing. Try to speak at the same time as the speaker. This is shadowing. Do not worry if you are not perfect. Focus on staying close to the speaker's speed and rhythm. Shadowing trains your brain to connect listening, G, and speaking together. It reduces translation in your mind. It improves fluency. At first, you may feel slow. That is normal. Keep practicing. Over time, your speech will become smoother. Fourth, summarize what you heard in simple English. For example, today's podcast was about daily routines. The speaker talked about waking up early and exercising. I usually wake up at 7. I drink coffee and go to work. Keep your sentences simple. You do not need complex grammar. The goal is to speak without reading. If you feel comfortable, you can record yourself. Then listen and notice areas for improvement. This final step is very important. Listening is input. Speaking is output. You need both. Now let's talk about why this 20-minute routine works. It includes listening, repetition, shadowing, and free speaking. These 4 activities train different parts of your brain. Listening improves understanding. Repetition improves pronunciation. Shadowing improves rhythm and fluency. Personal speaking improves confidence and expression. Another reason this routine works is habit building. 20 minutes is not too long. It feels manageable. When something feels manageable, you are more likely to continue. If you study at the same time every day, for example, every evening at 7 p.m., your brain begins to expect English practice. It becomes also short daily practice reduces stress. You do not feel pressure to be perfect. You simply show up and follow the steps. Even on busy days, you can shorten the routine to 10 minutes. The important thing is to stay consistent. After 1 week, you may notice small changes. After 1 month, you will notice bigger changes. Your listening becomes clearer. Your speaking becomes faster. Your confidence grows. Remember, learning English is not a race. It is a daily process. A simple, focused, 20-minute deep practice routine can slowly transform your skills because regular attention, repeated exposure, and small speaking efforts each day build strong language habits that grow naturally over time and help you communicate more comfortably in real life situations without feeling overwhelmed or discouraged.